But I wanted to make this video for the typical amp fan, the old school guitar player, like, who plays through an amp, who just wants to turn knobs, who doesn't want to deal with all the other crap that you can do when you plug it into a computer. I wanted those people, that audience, to realize you can plug into this thing straight from the store. You can adjust the knobs. I've done nothing with EQ. I haven't changed any EQ. I've done nothing. And some people say it needs to be EQ'd, this and that. With everything that's on the front of that amp, you can get a very decent sound. Hello and welcome to this episode of The Effects Loop. I am your host, Jay Byrne, and today we are going to talk about katanas. Multiple katana related things, okay? Because we've got, over here, we've got the Katana Artist Mark II on the BOSS BAS-1 stand, which I'll get into that after. I've got my Katana 50 in the corner over there, and I've got a foot switch over here, which is the GAFC foot switch, which unfortunately only works with the Artist. It doesn't work with the 50 watt. There is something called an air step, which is it's this like wireless controller unit that you can buy that actually does work with the 50 and the 100 and stuff. But I opted for the one that comes with the actual, it doesn't come with the amp, but it's the one that's made specifically for the amp. They have an expanded version of it available right now, but the one I got right here is what I got. I mean, it's a $100 foot switch and it'll do. It's like a mini pedal board is basically what it is. I had originally gotten one from Guitar Center quite a while ago, and I don't know what was wrong with that amp, because that amp sounded horrible. It was muddy and garbagey and just did not sound good at all, and I honestly do believe now that there was something wrong with the amp, that it was defective in some way. I don't really know how it was defective, but it was defective in some way. And so I returned that one because I just couldn't get a good sound out of it. Now, not to say that this isn't a dark sounding amp. It can be a darker sounding amp. However, it sounds good with the distortions in the Katana, because the distortions in the smaller speaker on the 50 tend to sound kind of harsh, and you got to really dial down the top end because they can be kind of harsh and just brittle in your ears. But this particular one, the Artist, has a WAZA G12 W or something, I think it's called, speaker in it, and it's WAZA CRAFT. It's Boss's WAZA CRAFT version of a Greenback. What they did is they did a lot of R&D, and they basically supposedly redesigned a Greenback speaker to give it enough power to handle the Artist, because the Artist runs at 80 watts. It's supposed to be equivalent to 80 tube watt. Oh no, I'm sorry. Is it 80 or no? Actually, I think there's 100. That's 100. It runs at 100 watts, and it's supposed to be equivalent to a 100 watt tube amp. Although I've heard that they're not quite as loud as a 100 watt tube amp. They're plenty loud enough. A little YouTube sob story here to kind of explain to you why that works for me over, say, a tube amp, because a lot of people are going to be like, well, why don't you just get a tube amp, get a little Marshall or something like that, get a DSL 40 CR or something, which I had and I really liked. I'd say at least 10 years ago or so, I started having problems with my hearing. I started getting like these really blocked ears, and it seemed to me like it was an allergy, like a sinus infection type thing. So I got it checked out, and they told me one of my eardrums was damaged. At some point I damaged one of my eardrums, and that my tubes in my ears were kind of filled with fluid, which they figured was a sinus infection type thing. So time goes by, you know, I take some stuff for it, didn't really do anything. it would get a little bit better, and then when the weather gets crappy, it comes back. Come to find out, it's like a sinusitis, like a chronic sinusitis type of thing that I've got going on. That unfortunately, because my ears are kind of a mess, I get headaches very easily from loud amplifiers. I tended to notice that for whatever reason, tube amplifiers seem to be the worst. I don't know why. Something in the frequency of a tube amplifier does it. I don't really know. But because of that, I kind of had to start going with amps that had like built-in attenuators that I could bring the volume down if it was bothering my ears. And unfortunately, that seemed to be solid state or digital for the most part. Now, like I said before, I went with a Line 6 Helix. I had that, but I wanted an actual amp. So I've been looking for amps. I've been fighting it. And, you know, I found some good stuff. But that is basically the reason why I went back to the Katana Artist to give it another chance, because I had a feeling it would be what I was looking for. So due to my ears and due to the issues because of my ears and because I get headaches really easily from the loud volumes of the amplifiers, certain frequencies actually affect my ears worse. It could be like a tinnitus as well. I really don't know. It seems like these type of amps are the best for me because I can adjust the volume and I can use the attenuators on them. I could have an attenuator for a tube amp, but they just don't sound as good with an attenuator. They sound fizzy, they don't sound that great at low volumes, plus you're still burning tubes when you got the amp cranked that loud, even with an attenuator. But trying to find something that's Marshall-y in solid state isn't the easiest. And I've been playing with that 50 watt for a while now, just as a practice fun amp at night, and then, you know, just came to the conclusion that this amp sounds really good. If this amp sounds as good and I can dial this amp in as good as it sounds, then the artist must sound better than my brain remembered it sounding. So far, I'm digging it, and it's good, and I even picked up some accessories like the foot switch and the stand so that I can have it. I will say, depending on where you're playing the amp, depending on the size of your room, and if it's carpeted or hardwood or there's a lot of stuff in it to soak up the vibration of the sound, on the floor it can be a very bassy sounding amp. Same thing with that little 50, but the 50 is not as bassy sounding as the 100 watt Artist is on the floor. That cabinet is a bass monster. It can get really muddy, like right on the floor. You get it up on the stand, just a little bit up off the floor, and it dials that mud right out of it. You can get a lot of the bass out of it, so it's not as muddy. But yes, I'm not going to go into the Katana, the tone editor. I mean, I will say that I plugged it in, I put the sounds that I wanted to put into the amp. There is something like 60 effects, most of Boss's pedals, actually stored in that amp on the software. And all you got to do is, you know, go into the software and adjust it. So you've got your effects over here, okay? You've got a booster and a mod, and there's I think it's called dual concentric. It's two knobs, one little knob and one big knob. One's for the booster, one's for the mod, for the modulation. Next one you've got effects and delay. One's for the effects and one's for the delay. Now you can adjust these however you want in the tone software, or not. You can just leave it the way it is when you bring it home, exactly the way you get it, and that's perfectly okay. Like, a lot of people like it that way and don't ever even plug the thing into a computer. Now, before I get into anything else, I'll give you a quick overview of the different tones. I'm not going to go too crazy with it. I will literally just crank them down. I find the brown sound to be the best sound in the entire amp. That's brown. If you go to the lead, this is the lead. EQ is a little different on the lead channel, I've noticed. Actually, that's kind of my least favorite channel out of all of them, is the lead channel. But, and then you get the crunch right here. There's a cab resonance on the Artist, and the I think the 100 watt, you get this on the front of it as well. But on the Artist, you get something called cab resonance. I keep it on normal. A lot of people keep it on vintage. I find vintage to be kind of dark. I find normal to be pretty good. Deep gives you almost like a scooped sound, but go down to the clean channel. It's darker. The clean channel is definitely darker, and it needs to be dialed in. I think it's because you're dealing with a high wattage greenback. So at lower volumes, it can be a little on the dark side. If I can put, say, I put like a modulation on it, put my mod, and put my reverb. With the foot switch right here, you just click them, and it turns them on, so you can keep your settings so they're... I'm not going to say I wouldn't buy this as a pedal platform amp, because I think it works pretty well as a pedal platform amp. However, I also think that it can be a little dark right on that clean channel. And you also have a contour switch, you have a tone shape and EQ button where you can change the EQ sounds. I mean, just for the sake of it. This is what I got here. Now, if I hit the global EQ tone switch, just the first setting. It's a little brighter. I go to the next one. Sounds a little more mid-forward. Might be hard to hear it in the video, but it does. That's darker. I wouldn't choose that one personally. Personally, what I would probably do, you just click it into the deep mode, gives you a little bit more of a scoop, so you get that Fender blackface thing going on. Maybe hit it in the first one and some more brightness. They have amp variations, different sounding amp variations. Actually, you want to help me with something? Yes. You can do it. Let's do this. All right. Now, get up. Don't stand in front of the amp. Could block it from the camera. This button right here.
Hit this?
It says no, that button where it says variation. Gently, and don't hang on the stand because you will knock the amp over. All right. Now put it back to normal. Put it back to the regular way. All right. Now this is the normal way. Just shut the effects off. Now turn the variation on. Now this is the variation. I actually kind of like that variation. It's not that bad.
Wait, I need to do
it does that with all of the amps. So now I have my effects set. Like if you want to add a booster, this is actually just the blues driver. Give you a little more crunch.
I'll hit it.
Hit channel 1. Hit channel 1. Jump around too much, okay? You want to add some mod to hit mod 2. You want to add some that is, now I'm adding chorus.
They're easy to click.
Yeah, they are. They're really easy. Now it's adding chorus. Yeah.
Are you ready to...
Sure. Why not? Let's go. No, don't put FX because that's just going to be a phaser. But click the next one that says delay. We can put some delay. Ready? Then you get some delay. Yes. So yeah, you get that. I'll shut these all off now. But anyway, so you get, that's what it does, and that's what the amp does, and yes. Honestly, I got this on sale for $500. It's normally $580. For $500, you cannot beat this. You can't beat that for $500. You can argue with me until you're blue in the face. If you're looking for something that can get a Marshall sound, that's not tube, that has got volume, has got a good speaker in it, some built-in effects. You got a lot of built-in effects in this. There's nothing else out there. I've looked. There's nothing else out there. You could say a Fender Mustang, but the Fender Mustangs are not in the same league. It's not the same thing. Fender Mustangs are just these computery, like Line 6 Spider type things. You know what I mean? Like they have all these like different effects and different presets and stuff. If you're looking for something simple that you can just plug into, play, adjust some knobs on the freaking panel, and go to town, there it is, right there. Like, there's nothing else I can say. And as far as the 50 is concerned, my own personal opinion on the 50 is that the 50 is a practice amp. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this. If you like this kind of content, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And yeah, this is the effects loop. I'm gonna be going hard with videos this year, 2 videos at a time. And yeah, so if you dig this kind of stuff, please check out my channel, subscribe, like, comment. And there's going to be more videos to come. So thank you.
Coming soon. More videos coming soon.
More videos coming soon. Okay. Do you want to give your opinion on the amp? You said you had an opinion. What's your opinion on the amp?
Well, I didn't really hear the amp. All I think is I just think it's way too loud.
That's a good thing, not a bad thing.
Really?
But it's way too loud. Wait, though. But really?
Okay, now that we put the sound. Yeah, but wait. Dad, it does sound good. It does sound good.
Yeah, see? So you can actually turn it down if you would like to.
If I would give it stars, I would probably give it either 1.5 to 5 stars. I would probably give it 2.5.
2.5 stars. Listen to this kid. She's extremely picky. And her ratings her ratings do not represent my ratings.
What's your rating?
My rating is out of 5, I'd give this thing 4.
Really?
For what it is, it does a really good job. It does what you need, and it's very, very flexible and super versatile. Yes, we have Santas everywhere. But, all right, that's good.
And this thing.
All right, now you got your opinion in. Get out.